You know what? Telling people what to do has a bad reputation. I know it sounds bossy, controlling, maybe even a little outdated. But look, if you're a manager, telling people what to do is literally part of the job. You can't get away from it. It's called delegation. If you don't learn to delegate tasks effectively as a leader, then you risk doing it all yourself. And delegation isn't just about handing off things to lighten your workload. It's about being thoughtful, strategic, and super intentional. If you want to be an effective manager, then delegating has to be one of your strong points. Bro, let me say that again. If you want to be an effective leader, then delegating has to be one of your strong points. And don't just take my word for it. A London Business School professor has noted that only 30% of managers believe that they delegate well. And of those, only 1 in 3 actually is considered an effective leader. Now, my question for you, My questions for you are you doing work that your team should be doing? Is your day regularly impacted because of failing to delegate? And are you afraid to tell people what to do? And of all of that, is any of that making you less available, less effective? Are you feeling frustrated, even overwhelmed? If you answered yes to either of those questions, then you can change that. And child, I got your back. Yeah, I said that. Today, let's talk about delegating tasks effectively, or in truth, telling people what to do. We'll cover this in a way that makes you feel more comfortable delegating, empowers your team, helps them to grow professionally, and best of all, helps you to get the results you're looking for so you can stop feeling frustrated and overwhelmed. Let's get right into these 3 easy steps. Step 1 is to know what your team wants to learn. In other words, know what they're interested in and what their work goals are. Maybe one person on your team wants to know how to better analyze data, while someone else is interested in learning to lead really big projects. The only way to know is to ask. So in your one-on-ones, you can ask questions like, how do you want to grow? Or concerning the work that you do, what goals do you have that I can help with? This step matters because when you delegate a task that aligns with a person's work goals, they're not just doing work, they're building their future. And when people feel like their growth is a part of the bigger picture, they're way more likely to show up motivated and engaged. Now, step number 2 is to look at your team's current skills and match them to the task you're delegating. Now, the trick is you don't want to make this too easy. You want the assignment to stretch the person just enough so that they can grow without making them feel overwhelmed. So let's say, for example, someone on your team has done simple reporting, but they've never presented to stakeholders. Give them the task of creating the report and presenting it. It's a stretch, but it's not out of reach. This approach builds confidence. They'll feel challenged but supported, and this is where the real growth happens. Finally, step 3, when you delegate, don't leave room for confusion. Be very clear about your expectations, deadlines, and why the work matters. So don't just say, can you handle this report for me? Instead, say something like, can you create a report that covers last quarter's customer complaints? I need this Friday by noon. This report is really important because it's going to help guide our strategy for the next quarter. When you explain the impact of their work, you're not just delegating, you're showing them the value that they bring to the team. And clear expectations lead to better outcomes just about every time. So remember, delegating isn't about being bossy and controlling. It's about empowering your team, building their skills, and driving results. Let's recap those 3 easy steps so that you can delegate effectively. The first step is you want to know what your team wants to learn. Second step, match their skill level to the task you're delegating and provide some stretch opportunity. And finally, be crystal clear with your expectations, deadlines, and the impact of the work. When you follow these steps, you're not just telling people what to do, you're leading them. And that's a boss move. If you found this information helpful, then let me know in the comments and subscribe to my channel. Get practical and lead better.